Okay, let's go ahead and call to order the special meeting of the Executive Committee of the Cities Association of Santa Clara County on August 29th, 2025 at 1:04 p.m. First up is roll call. Shelley, can we please have roll call?
Yes. Larry Klein,
Present.
Tina Walia,
Present.
J.R. Fruin,
I am appearing as a member of the public.
Elliot
Okay.
Scazola,
Here.
Lisa Fliger. Okay, with 3 present, we have quorum.
Thank you very much. Next up is oral communications from the public on non-agendized items. It's a chance for the members of the public to speak on something that's not on our agenda. Is there any member of the public, no one in the room, any member of the public remote wishing to speak on under oral communications?
No one online.
Okay, thank you. Next up is our consent agenda. It's approval of the minutes from our executive committee meeting of July 24th, 2025. Are there any changes? Is there any member of the public wishing to speak on this item under consent?
No one online.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Second.
Moved by Scazola, seconded by Walia.
Gotcha. Thank you. Motion to
And-
approve the consent agenda as presented was made by Scazola, seconded by Walia. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next up is our president update. Not much to present. I think we'll be talking about a lot of these issues or, in the second half of the year. And Shelley and I have been working on kind of going through the calendar for the rest of the year and trying to make sure that we basically have everything in line. It looks like I need one more person, but I'm fairly certain we will have our October 9th meeting. So for those that are remote, we'll have to deal with that. But I need one more person, and I think somebody will either the primary, the alternate will be in the county to take that meeting. So we should be fine for October 9th meeting. I think that's the biggest thing that's pending at this moment. Next up is and actually any comments, any questions? Any member of the public wishing to speak on that item?
No one online.
Okay. Next is review the update to the Cities Association conflict of interest code discussion and possible action.
And I'm happy to report on that.
Okay. Yes.
We have a great working relationship with Kim Forrester at the county. And interestingly, I think they just got super busy. But when it became apparent that we had not contemplated a contingency where we could have council members serving on the executive committee but not be board members, we realized that we needed to modify the conflict of interest code to address that situation. So I proposed changes and sent them to county council. They've now approved them. And so then once the board approves that change by resolution, then we forward that back to the county and the board of supervisors will review and approve that change because the county is responsible for overseeing our conflict of interest codes. And so I did have one question on the agenda that maybe we'll talk about later is whether that's appropriate to put it on the consent calendar if we want a resolution to memorialize the action of the board.
Okay. I have an opinion on that. But first, any questions for Janet? Any member of the public wishing to speak on this item?
No one online.
Okay. Yeah, from my standpoint, I think it's fine to put it on consent. It's kind of closing a loophole that we missed when we were setting this up. I don't think that there's any contentious, issue as far as that's concerned. So I'm happy to put it on consent if everybody agrees.
Sure.
Okay. Any other comments on this item? Anything else, Janny, on this item?
No.
Okay. Good. We'll move on to item number 4, review draft governance calendar for the Cities Association of Santa Clara County discussion and possible action. Dolly?
Yeah. So I put this as a draft, but really it's a living document. And so you'll see that it's split into 3 categories: board activities, governance and business, budget and financial as a separate category. And then there's my activities, which I put it here for you guys to see it, but I don't think that you would need to see it at every meeting, like what my activities are in that month. And I put it in the order of the fiscal year because a lot of what I do further along in the year depends on what had happened earlier in the fiscal year. So calendar year did not make sense to me, to be honest with you. So you can take a look and see that, at our September meeting for governance and business, the chair will.
Do you want to share this document, Charlie, on the screen, please?
Oh, sure. Sure. Just give me 1 second. I changed the orientation so that it would print nicely if you printed out your packets, but that means you all have to look at it 90 degrees. Do you want me to go through the calendar and I can add anything that you think is missing?
Yeah, can you swap the document orientation here or no?
Let me see. I don't know if I can do it. Oh, wait, hold on a second. I thought I could do it. Let me see.
You gotta come closer, Victoria.
1 second.
Molly, if you go to organized pages,
Yeah, there. Yeah.
yeah, and then just highlight the ones you wanna move.
Those 3.
So you should be able to select them and then just click one of the arrows to get it oriented the way you want.
Nice.
Do you see it now?
And then you just hit close.
Oh,
There you
so
go.
much better.
Perfect.
Thank you. So much better. Oh, I guess I could have done like this.
I know.
Okay.
Thank you, Victoria.
Why lean on Victoria?
I have to print.
So how would you like me to go through this? Like month by month?
Probably month by month.
Okay. So starting at the beginning of the fiscal year in July, of course, as far as governance and business, there's no board meeting. I did put that the executive committee meets to plan the August meetings. Just wanted to, memorialize that. As far as budget goes, that's when we begin the audit, which really is sending out all the audit materials to the auditor. Then in August, there's no governance or business activities for the board, but for the budget side, we will present the second quarter financial report, or we should put it that way. In September, the chair will announce the nominating committee. In October, the nominating committee will present the slate of new executive committee members to the board and take anyone from the floor who wishes to nominate themselves. We'll also solicit nominations for champions of the year, and that is up to you. We can leave it on there or we can take it off. I think every board president does it slightly differently. As far as budget and financial, the third quarter financial report is presented then. I present the audit to the board of directors. It should be done by then. And then I file the audit with appropriate entities. So then in November, so in October, you get the first read of who the slate of officers is. In November, you vote on them. And if you choose to vote on champions of the year, you would do that in November. And we put down established date of January meetings because it gets a little hairy to do it in January itself. Our meeting is conflicted with the VTA meeting, which is why we change it. And that's the only VTA meeting of the year that actually conflicts with our meeting. And then in December is our holiday party. And if you look on the in the executive director side, you can see that I've started working on the city selection committee meeting because our first meeting is usually the January or February meeting. Okay. Moving on to January. This is when I present the calendar of dates. We vote on the calendar under governance and business. You start the discussion of board priorities. For as far as budget and financial, this would be the fourth quarter financial update to the board. And then this is actually my thing, I start preparing a draft operating budget for the upcoming fiscal year. And then just wanted to highlight that in my activities in January, it is the orientation of new board members and confirming council member representatives to our board, our LAC, and our city selection committee meeting, which, as you can see, continues into February. It just depends on when city councils meet and when they make their committee assignments. And then, of course, send out the city selection committee meeting announcement and list of available seats. In February, we'll vote on the board priorities if that hasn't been done in January. As far as the budget side, I present the draft proposed budget to the city managers for their feedback. We won't worry about the city selection committee stuff that I do. And then in March, there is no governance and business necessarily, but as far as the budget goes, the draft operating budget is presented to the board for their first read. And then I did put in begin planning June board special meeting, the membership event, because we have to start developing the budget for that. So, and that goes hand in hand with looking for venues. In April, you would, under board governance and business, is when you would approve the professional services agreement with the executive director, because that becomes part of the proposed budget. And then in April is when you vote on the proposed budget, because according to our bylaws, you have to adopt the budget by April 30th. And that will also, April meeting will also hold the first quarter financial report for the current fiscal year. There is no board business in May, nor financial business. And then in June is our membership event. So happy to take any comments, any feedback. What I envision is that the governance calendar will be sort of a standing agenda item on our executive committee meeting so that you can always see what is supposed to be done. Okay. And I think Jenny has raised her hand, so
I think I'm going to state the obvious, that it isn't that there isn't any board business in March or May, but this is what the effort was to organize the lawyers and the executive director. So these are our standing things. So I don't know if you want to make a note on the calendar that it's standing items.
yeah, I can call it that. Okay. And then, of course, business always pops up if there's a policy or something that we need to come up with, or an MOU that needs to be approved.
Right.
Go back to my Zoom. Oops. Any other comments? I can't actually see the screen right now. I mean, I see what I'm sharing, but I can't see you guys. So,
Fine. Director Scazola?
Thank you. I just had a question on where might, if we're obviously always looking for sponsors for the special events, and where would that fit in, like early in the year? Like when do, we start putting out our feelers for that kind of a thing?
that is a good question, because we have to start planning both of our signature events months in advance.
Right.
I don't know if you want to call it an ongoing.
Okay.
I would, in my opinion, you should add something, either executive director or governance and business, about planning, at least putting a reminder to start planning for the dates for the different sections. So something in January, February, and something in September, October. I think that has value. And I see this in general as a working document. So as members, as we think of other things that need to be added, especially from an executive board standpoint, please add them. Anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Shali, as far as
Oh, wait, I just lost audio.
I don't hear anything either.
Jenny, can you hear anything? JR and I can't hear anything. Oh, shoot. I'm going to text Victoria or Larry.
Yeah, last week it came back in just a few minutes.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorting it out. Yeah, we're just, they're sorting out the audio, Janny and JR, so.
Can you hear us, Shelley?
Oh,
Yes.
There we
hear you,
go.
Tim. Yes,
Hang on.
You hear us now and you also see us.
yes,
Okay.
Can you still hear us?
yes.
Yep.
Okay.
What's wrong there? The connection?
Something.
It's yield, plug it and
Plug it.
unplug it and plug it back in technique.
The tried and
That
true
worked.
method.
Okay.
So, I'm
back
sorry,
to-
but I missed what you said about,
I know.
yeah.
I'm back to this. For the audit, does the board need to approve the audit, not just receive it? I
So
thought.
what I've been told by the auditor is that management approves the audit, which is me.
Okay. So the October budget meeting, it's not just present the audit to the board, but also, and board votes to approve or something of that nature.
Okay.
Does it say anything about that in bylaws or
That's what maybe Janny knows.
Janny, do you know if it says anything? Is Janny still there?
Janny's there.
I'm still here. I'll check. I don't know that off the top of my head, but I will check.
And let me see. Yeah, so adding the other party, the summer party, the summer event, as well as the holiday party, and kind of where that stands in the general scope of things. There's one other thing that I can't remember. I was going to bring up. That's all I had. Did you have anything? Yes, Director Wale.
Nothing to add really here. I am deeply appreciative of all the effort that President Klein has put in and our attorney Jani and Executive Director Shally to put this together. This will avoid a lot of it'll streamline things in a way that I don't even have the words to express. It is phenomenal. It'll reduce the number of questions, the concerns, and the ambiguity around so many things. So deep, deep thanks to each one of you.
Thank you.
And this is mainly Shali's efforts. I appreciate, her time trying to lay this out and trying to make sure that things don't slip through the cracks in the future. And I think
I did have a lot of help from Janny, actually.
And both our bylaws and the JPA don't require the board to actually approve the audit. It just requires them to have an audit prepared and filed.
okay.
Yeah, that's consistent with us. Also, Larry, receive and file.
Yes. Okay. Just checking.
No, that's a good question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Any member of the public wishing to speak on this item?
No one online?
Mr. Fruin? Nothing? Okay. Thank you. With that, we will, and for this document, Shali, it's like I see this as a living document as we keep adding to this. So it might be just a good information only item to pass to the executive board as we move forward, as you keep adding to it. So I think it's valuable from that standpoint, especially for the incoming president, whoever they may be, to look at, keep following this up closely, just so that we have that foresight on what you need to deal with. So thank you.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you. And moving on to our next item. Selection of the Cities Association Nominating Committee for 2025 Executive Committee candidates, discussion and possible action. So for me, this is, from a nominating committee standpoint, the first vice president is normally kind of decides who they want on that nominating committee. I'm happy to endorse whatever they list, but it's trying to make sure, why we have a nominating committee is to, as the past president exits and the current president becomes past president, you're bringing in the right people and having a committee that is looking at all the different concerns of trying to create a most diverse executive board as possible, from size of city, from gender, from a little bit of everything on the skill sets of the executive committee. I think we've done very well for many years now of having a good mix of understanding what good governance is, as well as having different perspectives that fill different roles and realizing that those roles will change over time. So I'm happy to support. Yes, I'll be passing it to you on, if you have ideas on who you would like on that. Sorry, Director Walia or Vice President Walia, but just to give you that. I texted you last week.
Bylaw said the president chooses the nominating
I
committee.
understand.
Thank you.
But no, that was.
I'm honored. I'm deeply honored. Is what I'm
saying. But it's important for you to have, I'm on my way out from an executive board standpoint. To me, it's always important, and I'm happy to be on that committee with you if you want. But it's really not the. So to me, it's not the president's responsibility to choose who that incoming person is, and having the vice president take that lead is normally the case.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I didn't.
No.
I didn't make that clear last week.
But, my apologies. You did reach out, and I was looking at the bylaws, and I talked to. So, do we need to decide now? Is my first quick question, or can we work on it? Here are some thoughts while Jani's thinking about this. I am deeply honored that that's the process. That's very inclusive, and that has been my experience working with you the last 5 years on different agencies. And recently, I think we have found we tend to align. You'll make a point, and I'll hey, that was my question, or that was the point. We have done that multiple times, and we have a witness sitting here in some of those meetings.
Right.
That it truly has happened. So help me with how it has been done in the past. But if I, from the outside in, recollect the then president and the vice president have taken the additional one other person. I have never been on one of those nominating committees. So if that's the case, I'm open to suggestions from you. Here are some of my thoughts. As you said, a very good mix helps. I have seen in the last 5 years, City Association Board, the Executive Committee, the Nominating Committee have done a great job adjusting with whatever the latest challenging situation is, and to respond to that in a very good teamwork effort. That is the most important thing for me, so that we can serve all 15 cities. With that, one thought that rises to the top of my head is often people from South County will show concern that we make decisions in different organizations without getting their input. What are your thoughts on that? And you have a lot more experience, so help me understand.
So let me first talk about the nominating committee doesn't need to have the same diversity. I'm mainly talking about the new addition to the board, and that from an executive committee standpoint, that's important. Sorry, the new addition to the executive committee happening next year. That being said, because of board and quorum, executive board and quorum, it really needs to be conceivably a maximum of 2 executive board members and someone else that's on the board in general. And so the only reason I'm bringing that up specifically is it best for you to I can announce it, but is it best for you? And this is kind of what I'm asking you, of having the outgoing president be on the nominating committee, or one of one of the assumed to be executive board members that will continue on next year on that board. So, and leaving it up to that, but you need that mixture from and I forget, Shali, do you remember who was on the nominating committee last year?
It was Sheila Mohan represented the board, and well, I shouldn't say she was Sheila Mohan, Nisa Flagger.
Okay. And myself, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So she did. So, and this was up to Nisa. She's like, I can be on it or I can't. So she left it up to me. I'll leave it up to you on.
I would like to continue that precedence of having the current president, because the level of insights you have right now will be, with due respect to Elliot and JR,
I agree.
that would be a lot more helpful.
Okay.
And if I do get to be in that position, trust me, I'll be turning to you for guidance and suggestions. So besides that, then we need to find a person outside the executive committee as a third person for Brown Act purposes.
Correct.
That makes sense. Do you want to decide that now, or is this the time? Do you have any suggestions? However you want to handle it.
We need to announce it at the next meeting. Do we need to be, it needs to be posted too prior to that meeting, or just announced?
Just announced. That's how we've done it. Jenny, do you know?
No, all the Brown Act requires is that you have enough notice. You don't have to necessarily, you can, but I don't think you're legally required to name those people. You'll just have as an action item that you'll do.
Okay.
Technically the president appoints per the bylaws, so you'll just say appointment of nominating committee.
Thank you. Okay, so we can work offline on this, and we'll find a board member that's not on the executive committee to do that. And I wanted to have this discussion in more of an open thing, because a lot of times it goes quickly. It's like, oh, it's been chosen, and who's the new member? But from a nominating committee, I do think it's important to choose good people. And I think we've been blessed for years from an executive committee standpoint to have a good diversity and good different perspectives as far as that's concerned. So, yeah.
Thank you. And I'll take you up on the offer to work offline on this so that we can also get the agreement from that person.
Yep, exactly. That is the thing. It's like, that's why you can't really announce it here unless you've done the footwork ahead. Okay.
While we are here, I'd request you to take the input from the other two directors, one sitting as a member of the public and one in the room with us, if they have other thoughts while we are discussing this in an open forum.
Not naming
Correct.
specific people,
Totally
but general parameters that you can
Sure.
fit.
Yeah, well, I'm already loving, hearing this. I agree that, of course, we want to keep things as diverse and have the most perspective. So things I'm thinking about is maybe targeting maybe more youthful people. That's one thing that's pretty huge for me. Maybe people who are in their first term, but maybe on the later end where it's like they're still fresh, but they also have enough experience, and go-getterness still in them, Those are probably my two main things that I would like to envision for bringing. I'm sure. I mean, there's so many other, for diversity's sake, but for me, that's the one or two things that stand out most for me. If I were to have any input on that.
Right. Any members of the public?
So I would broadly agree with Councilmember Scozzola's commentary. It would be, I think, very helpful to move in the direction of trying to recruit folks who are on the younger side and have enough time in office to make meaningful contribution.
Oh, did we lose audio again?
Yeah, it looks like it because I can see Larry's mouth moving, but I don't hear anything.
Yeah, I can't hear Elliot laughing.
How about now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
There we go.
We'll just have someone sit next to it ready to unplug, replug. So just raise if you stop hearing us, definitely raise the issue. Charlie, any other member of the public wishing to speak on this item?
No one online.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll close that item and move on to item number 6, budget review of fiscal year 2024-2025, discussion of and possible action. Director Suzola.
Yeah, thank you. So Shali and I went over quite a few things. The audit, obviously, that was looking great, but there were a few things that we're still going to be looking into. If you looked at the numbers, legal counsel went up a little bit. I mean, everything's going up. So, we're going to, unless Shali, do you have that?
Yeah, so I put the budget up on the.
Okay, yeah, thank you for putting the numbers up. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. So as you can see, this is what we paid for legal counsel. That's a verified number. What I had shared with you was.
So that's
not
okay.
verified.
So it's, aha. Okay, so I'm seeing under budget. Am I seeing that right? Since
Yes.
last we talked? Oh, well, great.
No,
Never mind what I said.
Look, you fixed the problem.
Yeah, beautiful. Look how great we're doing. All right. Okay, let me just ask you a question then, because maybe a few other things have changed. You are so on top of it. I love it. Our reserve policy, we were working on that, and also the question of should we also have an investment policy? So, do we have any answers there since last we talked, or?
I'm gonna, Jenny, you feel free to jump in at any time. Uh-oh. Just went quiet again.
Okay, I'm back. We haven't started on it for yet. And one of the things that when Charlie and I did a pre-meeting today was kind of looking at the numbers too, which I think might influence. But we're going to go back and do a historical perspective because the issue of the reserve was brought before the board before, and we're going to use that as a starting point. And I anticipate it would not be an issue to bring a proposed reserve policy to the board in October.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
And then do we also need to have an investment policy, or is that not necessary?
I just want to say that the reason why we have a LAIF account, I don't know why we chose LAIF. So I don't have any insights for you. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
because one of the things that Shali and I were discussing was one of my main questions was, well, what's the interest rate of LAIF? And I found out it's pretty great at the moment, actually, 4.4%.
That's good.
Yeah, you can't do much better than that, honestly. So our advice would be just stick with it for, you can search a long time and not find a rate that good. One thing, unless you have the answer to this already, Shelley, but I was curious about if there were any penalties for pulling money if we need to do that,
I don't have an answer for you.
Okay, well, that's
all I could do
something.
was look up.
Pulling money out of life?
Correct. Yeah.
No.
Penalty. You know the answer, right? Oh,
Yeah,
great.
it's very
That's
liquid.
what I
You have to
wanted
give
to hear.
them 30 days, I think.
Oh,
is
there's a
all
bit
you
of a
need to
time,
do,
but
and then you can
a
pull
month,
it.
okay.
Yeah. Janny, is Cities Association governed under government code for investments? Do you know?
I have to look at the Joint Exercise of Powers Act. I'm really familiar with it when it comes to our audit responsibilities and the accounting, but I'll go back and I'll look at that.
Okay. I think we can help whether we legally need an investment policy or not
Okay,
is kind of
great.
the question. Yeah.
I love hearing that as well.
And
Awesome.
then even if it's not legally required, is it something that the board desires?
Yeah. And then you could document, put it all. LAIF is a commonplace. Public agencies
Mm-hmm.
park their money. It's managed by the state, especially small agencies.
Great. Let's see, consulting my notes here again. Let's see. So one thing we had talked about also was it looks like we're still good in regards to not needing to raise dues this coming fiscal year. However, the year after might not be the case. Everything's going up, inflation's crazy. The main thing that we're seeing as a problem right now with the budget is that the cost of having events now has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So that what is it, like 3,000, or that should be
Yeah.
like these days like 5,000 minimum.
I can
Like I
tell
think
you-
our last one, it shows right there, near 10,000. And of course, we're always going to be seeking sponsorships, but But the main point being that that is an outdated number now, the 3,000. It should definitely be at least 5,000 is our thought. Well, I think those are what we discussed, unless I'm forgetting anything, Shally?
No, but Director Scazola, one thing that I did not share with you yesterday is the fund balance.
Oh, yes, right.
Yes, so which we have an overly healthy amount
Mhm.
of money in the bank, and this number does not reflect the dues that are coming in.
Mhm.
So
So does that reflect any of the dues, Shelley, or?
because it's on June, it's because this report is for the fiscal year of 2025, so that was our ending fund balance on June 30th, 2025.
Okay.
That was your ending bank account balance, Shelley?
Yes, on June
Like that
30th,
ties to your bank statement?
according to the bank statement.
Yeah, okay.
But you still had some outgoing bills after that date that would still be part of last fiscal
Yeah.
year?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
Final accounting, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that.
So,
And had you,
sorry, I'm sorry.
from your salary standpoint, had that been removed yet or no? No,
That's a
No.
good question. I don't know.
probably not.
Yeah, because that's a big chunk.
Well, but yeah, but it's still healthy. From an organizational standpoint, it's a healthy number.
If there are not a lot of expenses that are outstanding from the prior fiscal year, I mean, you've got a year's worth of fund balance,
Yes.
which is a very healthy reserve policy. If you want to turn it into that,
Absolutely.
100% is good.
Yes. Good.
May I ask a question? When we present the budget to the board on September 11th, do you want me to include the fund balance or do you not want me to include the fund balances? Because it is a very large fund balance.
So the big thing here is it's not the final fund balance because you had outstanding bills that you still had to pay from an organizational standpoint. So I wouldn't, from a budgetary standpoint, you can say what you have in the account, but the fund balance had a lot of outstanding your salary as well as other things that hadn't been taken from that. So to me, it's more looking forward from an organizational standpoint, and I think it's from a treasurer standpoint, it's stay the course from a financial standpoint and making sure that we have appropriate reserves, and we're talking about that we're looking at reserves policy, but that's just a snapshot in time
Right.
when you're looking at the upcoming budget. So, but yeah.
So should I wait until the board has adopted a reserve policy before I transfer any money to LAIF?
Yes.
Yes, I would say.
Yes.
Okay.
Shelley, if you and I can to connect before the 11th, that I think that might be helpful for me also.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
So I think that well, I guess I want to ask as part of the presentation of the reserve policy, will best efforts to make sure that that's an accurate number?
Yes.
And ask as part of that, how much will go into LAIF? How many months of reserve? Right now we have, this would be X. How many do you want to have? And then where do you want to put it?
Yeah.
And if we could also ask at that time if the board is interested in a investment policy as well.
Good idea.
Yes, makes sense. Thank you, Sean.
Oh.
Or thank you, Channing. Sorry. Director Walia.
Thank you. So I agree with all that has been said. I am really glad Tim is there. The city of Sunnyvale is helping Cities Association. That brings in the level of expertise and experience that's very valuable. Quick comment on the LAIF account. I know City of Saratoga had, I won't give the number publicly, but millions. I mean, it's a public number. I don't remember. In LAIF for the longest time. And then at some point we made the movement. So there's still chunk in LAIF, but they were able to easily, successfully. And I'm just He's the expert.
Yes.
Tim. I'm just agreeing that, yes, I saw that happen in my city.
Yeah.
I think the max you can put in life is like 70 million. So it's a big number. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a huge number.
Yeah.
And the other really key question or key comment from Elliot that I want to highlight is the raising of the dues part. President Klein will recall how much of a challenge it was to get cities association to convert from an association to a JPA. Shali knows it, Jani knows this. And there were, one was a soft promise, we will not be raising dues. A lot of cities were very concerned that the dues would be raised or changed, the percentage would be changed. And I'm sharing the background with you because I know you were not on the exec committee that time. I can also share, because this was public, my city council was a split vote. It took a lot of effort to be willing to join the JPA. It was a 3-2 vote. Margaret, the then president, was there in person. Shali was there in person. A lot more effort. And the arguments made were there is no benefit to cities association. Not just Saratoga, but some other cities that were concerned. And Gilroy joined much later.
Oh, yes.
Gilroy did not join early on. And that what are we getting from cities association that we don't get from Cal Cities, the League of California Cities? Even though this is localized, our county, the benefits we are all seeing, the three of us on the SVCE executive committee as well, we know our cities, SVC came out of this. So I would be extremely hesitant, at least today, to even consider raising dues. I would suggest we think of other options in terms of those two events, the summer and holiday party. They're very beneficial. Everybody likes to be there. The cities can afford to pay for them. Is there a good way to get a sponsor to cut that cost down? I would go down that path versus raising. Sorry for taking this long, but I didn't have the background.
And I'll throw one thing onto that. Sponsorship, always a possibility now, very reasonable now that we have a JPA. The other thing is conceivably raising the cost of attending the holiday party per person, which it's like if, and that understanding that the cities defer part of that cost, but most cities will pay for their council members to also attend or something of that nature. So it's kind of charging more, but it's only for those that are actually attending the event. And so there is a balance from that standpoint to, I've had past, definitely the summer event, we try to make it as inexpensive as possible and make it open to making it a topic based, and conceivably that's better for sponsorship as opposed to the holiday party. But conceivably you're saving money with the summer event and then applying that to the holiday party. So I'll leave it at that.
I really appreciate those comments. And we certainly were like, we're in a very good standing right now. We were just simply looking at the future like, well, that might be an option. But I'm totally hearing this feedback and I appreciate that. And I am in agreement that now that I know the background with so much objections and these more or less split votes, let's put that on the way back burner. That's kind of my feeling right now after hearing this information. Shall you feel the same way?
Yeah, no, of course. I just wanted to point out that the dues have remained flat for 3 years in a row, which I think everyone appreciated. And I'm just gonna, because since Jenny and I were doing the JPA Roadshow together, I thought that we had said that becoming a JPA would not raise the dues, but I thought that it would not raise the dues for the year that we became a JPA. Unless I am misunderstanding it. Like, I don't think we promised to not raise the dues for years or something.
Danny, go ahead. I'm sorry, I can't see your hand from our display. So if you have comments, please just speak, Danny.
Yeah, I don't have any comments. I think it'll be really interesting to go through the budget for next year and see if it is necessary to increase costs. Because if I look at our fees are going down, the labor costs are less. I mean, I think it'll be interesting when Charlie goes through the budget process.
And I appreciate that. And now that's similar to what I was going to say. It's like forming as a JPA, we said we weren't going to increase the dues that year, but there is no guarantee that those dues would be stagnant for decades to come. So it's only reasonable from an organization that at some point the board does approve a budget which increases those dues. But looking at our reserves and looking at where we stand at least right now fiscally, I think we're in relatively good shape.
Great. So when I present the budget next February, I should probably present flat dues then.
Yes.
Don't scare anyone.
I won't.
Yeah. Any other comments? Any member of the public wishing to speak on this item?
No one online?
Okay.
Just as a quick note, I think it's always valuable to fully understand the backstory. There was a split vote in Cupertino as well, and there's a lot of history that has gone into where we sit right now and why we are where we are. So, being circumspect about what dues are is always valuable, and ensuring that the member agencies understand what the value of this JPA is also useful. So we need to make sure that we're conveying that to people.
Absolutely. And thank you for that comment. Yeah, we had especially some of the smaller cities that really raised issues about, like, oh, we're not getting as much bang for our dollar. But that being said, ultimately, in comparison to, San Jose, which has it's equal representation across our cities. So from a value standpoint, it is actually valuable to the small cities to have an equal say. Because when we last looked at adjusting our dues, there were more than one city that fell behind San Jose and said that conceivably there should be more than one vote allowed from San Jose because they will be putting more money in and all. So it was an interesting thing.
Yeah, sounds it.
Yeah. So I think what we end up with from a due standpoint is a good compromise across all the organizations.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
No raising of dues, not on my watch.
Exactly.
But a campaign
All right.
promise.
Thank you.
Just don't talk about, not reading lips.
Moving on to item 7, identify potential speakers for 2025. Shali?
Yeah, there's just one that I wanted to bring up. So Build the Future, if you recall, they made a presentation to our board 2 years ago in 2023. And this is Supervisor Ellenberg's Affordable Childcare Initiative. And it has since grown and really developed since then. And I also know that 14 out of our 15 cities have adopted resolutions in support of affordable childcare. So I thought it might be worthwhile for the board to get a very quick update. I did speak to Jariah Jog, who she works for Working Partners USA, but she's like the policy analyst, I think, for this initiative. So she could come in and just give like maybe a 5-10 minute update to the board on where this stands now.
Okay. I think probably for October, depending on looking at, well, we'll talk about the agenda in a little bit. Do other people have any other speakers that you've heard or who are interested?
You're doing a phenomenal job with all the speakers.
Charlie's done the lion's share as far as that effort is concerned. Any member of the public wishing to speak on this item?
No one online.
Okay. We'll go ahead and close that item and move on to our next item. Wrong window. Review of September 11th meeting agendas discussion. Any comments from board members about LAC? No?
No, it's
I know. Any member of the public wishing to speak about the LAC agenda?
No one online.
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
So,
I'm so sorry. There's one person online.
it's fine. It's fine. The next LAC and board meeting will be right before the legislature has its final day of session. So, there will be some opportunity, obviously, for us to discuss any other bills that happen to be turtling their last few days through Sacramento, any gut and amend that arises at the last second, although we are getting close to time for that to be impossible to really happen. I think that the lion's share of that agenda will probably be consumed with updates on where legislation sits. If there are positions that we need to take, I just need the flexibility to be able to put that before everyone during that last week. Beyond that, that's basically the entirety of what I anticipate being on the agenda, and I would welcome any thoughts from the rest of the board as to what might be useful on that date. As I recall, I think that this one last year was a relatively brief meeting, but Tina can correct me on that one if I'm wrong.
Go ahead.
Jer, you are ahead of me on that. I don't recall in terms of the timing where it was last year. I would make two suggestions while we are here. Jani can help us and help you. This is from what I understand from you, 11th evening is the LAC meeting, and the next day is the last day of the legislative session. So I am pretty sure Jani can help you figure out how to build that agenda with enough flexibility. You could add, I'm just throwing a number out, 20 bill numbers there. And out of the 20, we'll discuss the 3 that on the last day you may find would be the most useful. And that morning, I mean, Jani will go through it. I know I have seen that done in the past for different reasons. The other suggestion I have is, so hypothetically, we at LAC make a recommendation to the board that night and the board votes on it. The position letters for those bills need to be churned out pretty much overnight to reach there on time. So my one big suggestion would be have some draft letters in there so that it can be effective. That's what I can think of off the top of my head.
Sure. My one concern, if I can ask the pleasure of the chair to speak again,
Go ahead.
it would simply be, just as a concern that if there are draft letters that then people tend to nitpick the letter as opposed to staying on topic on the position that we might take. So
Right.
that's the only sort of concern that I have with that approach. And obviously I don't want to spend a whole lot of time writing a letter if it shows up on the,
No, I think Director Wally has a comment, but
On the back end, not for the, so you and Shally are prepared with numerous scenarios.
got it. So it's
can-
not necessarily there as a
Public, no.
here's
no,
the
no.
letter we're considering, but it's
No.
sitting behind. Okay, that's fine.
So you have language drafted with cut and paste so that you and Shally are in sync based on whatever happens, because we don't know. Nobody knows what will happen at LAC and the board.
right. And
Sure.
you don't, and the big thing here is you don't know what will have been basically pushed to the governor's desk at that point, which is the other thing that we rarely take a stance on. It's normally before it finishes the legislature. That being said, from that meeting, making sure that there's an option to say, please, Governor Newsom, don't sign bill number X is something that we haven't normally done, but depending upon what the state of that week looks like on that evening, conceivably we are some of the bills that really matter to the board, or especially the LAC board as well as the rest of the board, might have already gone through the legislature, and it's like it's your last chance to say, please do the right thing and not sign. But anyway.
Mayor Klein, can I just add
Yeah.
a point of clarification? Last year, we did not hold a LAC meeting in September and October, and the November LAC meeting was sort of a wrap up of the year. Although I do realize this is a different legislative year than we had last year, but just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. I think we miss that there's a possibility to do some final advocacy towards Newsom's office. Um, Not sure what the legislatures will do the day after as far as voting, but we do have a point in time where conceivably we do have a little bit of advocacy possibility that it makes sense to. October's a little bit different. October's a wrap up or November's a wrap up, but having something mid-September, there is potential opportunity there.
If I might share,
Yeah, go right ahead.
I think in general that signals that it might be useful to have a sort of draft, arc of the year. How does the LAC function from beginning to end? Roadmap so that whoever comes into that position is always situated to do that, and so that there's some expectation around what happens at this last moment in the year when our advocacy is hardest to do but could be most valuable.
Right.
And I mean, I don't see anything in our bylaws that would preclude us from advocating to the governor one way or the other. Obviously, advocating for a signature is probably not a necessarily a super helpful thing, because if the governor just doesn't sign it, it becomes law anyway.
Right.
But Governor Newsom's practice has always been to actively sign or veto legislation. I don't think that he's ever just not done something. So still being on record still feels valuable. So
No, I agree with that. So I think, and that's why the schedule is a working document. Adding a LAC column to that schedule makes it easier for whoever is LAC chair, and Shali, just documenting what our norm is, whether or not, and what's kind of expected from a general meeting of the year.
Sure, it's a good idea.
Thank you.
Like a LAC calendar in some senses.
Yes.
yeah.
Why not add it to the main calendar?
That's what she said. Yeah. Okay. Any other members of the public wishing to speak on this item?
No one else online?
Okay. Let's go ahead and look at the board agenda. I think so the draft board agenda looks fine. I have no idea how long it's going to take, how long we really give to James. Did he say he's having an actual presentation, Shali, or do we have any feel for that?
No, he was just going to speak.
Okay. Okay.
And then do you want to move number 3 back to consent agenda, make it B?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Jenny. Yes. Yeah. So make item 3 consent. Then James, which I'm assuming will probably be another 45 minutes of discussion. The suicide awareness discussion, I think they wanted 10 minutes, right, Shali?
They wanted 30 minutes because it's a workshop that they're.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, that's probably fine. The budget will probably be a good 15 minutes.
Can I make a comment about number 6?
Yes.
Community Planning Collaborative really is the motivated party to bring this forward. And I know that Montessorino is having a meeting talking about it. I had indicated to Mr. Driscoll that it was possible that it could come in September, but where Shali and I are, and we're hoping to get maybe 2 minutes with you after this meeting, is I've drafted an MOU. I've exchanged drafts with Driscoll to make sure they're comfortable with it. It hasn't been shopped to the board or to the city managers. And then the next piece is a professional services agreement, which Shali and I want to just touch base with you. And I was going to send that. So if this one was moved to October, it really wouldn't, I don't know that from the board's perspective how important that is. If it comes forward, I can certainly speak to it and the approach, but it would be having the board authorize these agreements without having them finalized.
I appreciate that. So yeah, I think it's important to get in front of the city managers and the city attorneys before it comes to the board. Because yeah, we can have our opinions, but it's good for you to come in, you and Shali to come in and say, ultimately, you've already at least had your first pass through with the city managers and given them a chance. So I think yes, moving this to October makes a lot of sense. And if David isn't as happy with that, that it is what it is from a timing standpoint. I don't think it's worthwhile to actually have a big discussion when we'll have another big discussion in October. So I appreciate that, Janet.
Can I just add, the October city managers meeting will be right the day before our meeting, so that wouldn't give us a lot of time to incorporate their edits before you present it to the board.
No,
Or we
I'm
can just
saying,
verbally say what it is.
well, what I'm saying is distribute it to the city managers in September, and they have
Oh,
a month
gotcha.
to get feedback to Janny and you on any changes that they might want. And then whatever is available in October, hopefully by that time, the city attorneys and city managers have had a chance.
Gotcha, thank you.
Okay. The budget, the announcement of the executive, the nominating committee should be quick. The most likely the October 9th discussion will be very quick. And how long did Vicky say that she wanted to speak about BOD?
She
She have,
said 20 minutes, but I mean, I think she's very flexible.
okay. So yeah, I think that's good to get that update, especially with the concept that we're going to need as someone interested in the upcoming year from a selection committee standpoint to fill the empty position. That's good for her to speak about what that organization's doing. And then we have LAC, and then we have premature to do any final updates. So most likely nothing beyond what James has already said. I think the rest of that is fine. Any other comments about Director Wally?
Thank you. I'm not sure if this is the place or later on, so I'll just add it here under the number 6 item, the planning collaborative, not directly related to them. I recently received an email from someone, recent Stanford graduates who want to talk to me, and I haven't been able to schedule that yet. I will do it next week, to talk about some benefits of using some newer technologies to support all the cities for ADUs. And I'm happy to do that, but this way I'm getting any reactions, thoughts from you. Completely different, and I'll bring it back to city.
Yeah, so not for this discussion. Yeah. We'll talk offline.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other comments about the board agenda? Any member of the public wishing to speak on the board agenda?
No, online.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the 2 agendas. Director Walia?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Charlie, can you please conduct the vote?
Yes. Motion to approve the LAC and board agendas with the changes discussed for the September 11th, 2025 night of meetings was made by Walia, seconded by Scazola. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 9, any future meetings topics that people want? Seeing none. Any member of the public wishing to speak on this item?
No one online. I'm sorry.
Okay. Next is Santa Clara County City Managers Association update.
I don't have an update from any meetings, but we have our upcoming meeting on the 10th, and it's actually, I believe, a joint meeting between San Mateo and Santa Clara County. So for our Cities Association meeting on the 11th, I should have a interesting update.
Good. Any member of the public wishing to speak on this item?
No one online.
Thank you. We'll move on to last item, Executive Director update. Charlie?
I don't really have very much. I think you all heard all the budget stuff that's been going on. So the second half of this fiscal, or I guess the first half of this fiscal year, it's been a lot of financial stuff. So it's budget, audit, that kind of thing.
Okay. Thank you very much. With that, we will adjourn the meeting at 2:09 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for flexibility of moving the meeting this week. It worked out well, and have a great long weekend.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Take care, everyone.
Larry, can we just steal you for 2 minutes?
Go ahead and stop the recording.
Okay, sorry.
Do you want us to leave the room?
Oops.
Jenny?
Wait.
Sorry, one second. I'm
It's just an administrative